It seems like I just keep finding more gear I wish I had snagged earlier, new mechanics I didn't realize were in the game, and cool tricks you can do in Black Flag Resynced. Like, if you throw a smoke bomb at a group of enemies and then shoot the smoke cloud with your pistol, it'll actually ignite the smoke, causing an explosion. All the enemies inside get damaged and their guard gets broken as well, but they also get dazed for a little bit. So even a little after the smoke clears, it's still possible to assassinate them or do takedowns easily. There can also be a lot of smoke during naval battles, but here it can be a problem because the game will tell you that enemy ship cannons will glow orange right before firing, but sometimes it's hard to see through that smoke. So instead, it's more reliable to watch this little diamond icon on the left end of the ship's health bar. It'll pulse a couple of seconds before they fire. There's also a set of legendary pistols that I can't believe I only found after like 40 hours because you can literally get them just a few hours into the game. You just need to sail over to this unnamed island right here, and on that island there's a unique merchant. Most of the merchants in the game sell the same stuff, but this guy sells Captain Drake's flintlocks for 22,000 reals. Definitely pricey, but they're a solid investment if you want a significant pistol upgrade early on. And he also sells the deceased crew attire, which I think is definitely the coolest crew outfit in the game because it literally turns your crew into skeletons.
That's interesting.
The catch is, instead of buying it with reals, you need to buy it with bones. A lot of bones. 206, which is a cool little Easter egg because that's the number of bones in the human body. But to get that many bones, you're going to need to hunt a lot of animals, and if you're doing a lot of hunting, then you absolutely want the exotic seashells trinket equipped. It increases the drop rates and quantities of animal products when skinning them to make your hunting more efficient. You'll find the exotic seashells trinket in a chest right here in the southern part of Havana. Hunting is pretty tedious though, so if you've got the cash, you can also buy a lot of bones from the treasure dealer once you unlock him at the hideout on Great Inagua. And he does restock over time, so you can check back in for more bones every few days. They're pricey though, so early on you're definitely going to be doing a lot of hunting if you need bones or skins. And pistol swords, like the early legendary ones I showed you how to get in my last video, those are a great hunting tool because their shots don't use up any of your ammo. I actually prefer using the blowpipe darts for hunting tougher animals like crocodiles though. A sleep dart knocks them out right away and then you can safely finish them. Berserk darts are good too. You just need to wait it out after hitting an animal with one and they'll eventually just die and you can walk up and skin them. I've also found some special takedowns and finishers you can do in specific combat scenarios. Like if you parry multiple enemies in quick succession, the takedown prompt you get will give you a finisher that looks way cooler than regular versions. And you'll get something similar if you perfect dodge an enemy's attack and then hit them for fatal damage. One way you can make that happen more often is by dodge canceling the light attack. If you hit light attack and then immediately hit dodge, it'll cut the light attack animation short and Edward will jump back. And you can just keep doing that on repeat to chip away at an enemy's health. If they happen to attack, there's a good chance you'll be dodging at that moment anyway and can get a perfect dodge. But what makes it even easier is getting Naoe's Shadowblade katanas from the Animus Exchange. This is a cool crossover with AC Shadows, and the swords are actually really good because they make perfect parries and dodges easier. You can buy them with keys in the Animus Exchange by opening up the map, holding down whichever button you see up here in the top left, depending on your platform, and then go over to the Exchange tab. Keys are these light gold holographic things you'll find while exploring, and you'll want to zoom in on the map all the way to find their icon and mark it. And if you've played AC Shadows, the new Animus hub will actually let you use any extra keys you have from Shadows in Black Flag. So you might actually be able to get these swords relatively early. The Altair swords that make takedowns recover health, and Ezio swords that let you perfect parry red attacks are also cool options you can buy in there. And there's also an awesome set of pistols that'll ricochet your shots to hit multiple enemies that you get in a similar way. But first, quick thanks to the Once Human team and NetEase for sponsoring the video today. Once Human is the free-to-play post-apocalyptic survival game that's been played by over 30 million people across PC and mobile, and it's actually coming to consoles on August 25th, bringing over 300 hours of free content and their enhanced immersive strange world survival experience with crazy monsters to more players. If you haven't played, Once Human is a very unique blend of multiplayer survival and looter shooter mechanics set in an open world populated with wild and weird SCP-inspired monsters. The monsters arose because Earth has been contaminated by Stardust, and you need to work tactically with your squad to master different player classes like the Beastmaster, Gardener, or Chef to cooperate and successfully harvest materials materials from the monsters for your upgrade abilities. But one of the most unique aspects of the game is the fact that you don't just fight monsters. Some of them, called deviations, can be captured and you can sync with them to gain a bunch of different benefits and boosts. Some deviations might help you automate base farming, while others give you and your squad lots of different types of cool buffs and abilities to use in combat. The systems and mechanics can definitely get deep, and the world narrative with Stardust as the catalyst for all these strange cosmic monsters is definitely an interesting backdrop for this world. I also noticed there seems to be a tease at the end of the new trailer for some kind of ocean-themed content in the future, so definitely cool to see that as a potential addition to the 300 plus hours of free content they already have in the game. The console release for PlayStation and Xbox is August 25th, and you can use my link below to secure some special launch rewards and jumpstart your free-to-play survival journey. But if you want to dive in today, the links below will also take you to the Steam and mobile downloads, and yes, there is cross progression, which is really nice. Thanks again to NetEase and the Once Human team. So these Ricochet pistols are called the Dark Animus Corsair Flintlocks. Instead of the Exchange tab in the Animus, you need to go over to the Projects tab and then select the Eye in the Dark project. Once you progress that project enough by collecting and spending data fragments, you'll be able to grab the pistols, and any shot you take with them will ricochet and hit multiple enemies at once, which is great because it basically means you get 2 for 1 with any shot, letting you use your pistol ammo much more efficiently. You can get data fragments by doing the purple anomalies around the map. It might take a little while to get enough keys and data fragments to get those special weapons though, so if you're looking for an early sword upgrade, sail over to Sacrifice Island west of Havana, and in a chest near the west coast of the island, you can loot Captain Drake's swords for free for a solid early damage upgrade. You'll also find Captain Drake's outfit in the underwater chest on the northeast edge of the island. Outfits don't give any bonuses in this game, but it's another cool option to wear. You do have transmog for swords, pistols, and trinkets though, if you want to use the stats of one, but apply the look of another that you like better. Just equip the piece of gear that you want the stats of, and then hit this button right here to choose the look from a different piece of gear. You may have noticed that heavy brute enemies will usually deny your takedown attempts, which is especially annoying when you're in the middle of an awesome chain takedown. But you can pause for a moment in the middle of your chain takedown when you get to the brute, quickfire your pistol to break their guard, and then you can actually continue the chain takedown from there, which is really cool. We already saw a bunch of great rope dart tricks in my last video, and I showed you how to hang enemies from branches, but you can take it a step further by hanging an enemy, waiting for their friends to come running over, and then just throw a smoke bomb down on them and jump down to assassinate them all. You could also combo that with the pistol smoke cloud explosion trick from earlier. Another one I really like is yoinking an enemy towards me mid-combat and then doing a sweep to knock them off their feet immediately. That'll let you instantly finish them on the ground. And if you rope dart an enemy that's about to throw a grenade, he'll drop it and it can explode right under him. You can also rope dart enemies that are about to shoot a gun to interrupt them. The snipers up in the watchtowers might be the most annoying enemies in the game, and you have to deal with them at pretty much every warehouse location. So just sneak up to the tower and rope dart them to pull them right over the edge. But let's head out on the high seas for a minute for some more naval combat tricks. The weapons that have dashed lines on the edges of their trajectories, so that's heated shot for the side cannons and double shot for the front, will actually allow you to sweep the trajectory around while holding fire. So you can adjust where the cannon fire is landing and sort of paint your target to create a larger swath of weak points that you can hit with the swivel gun for extra damage. That's good for forts and big ships. You might have also noticed that the heated shot trajectory will narrow after holding it for a couple seconds. But if you want it to stay wider so you can hit a wider area, for example so you can hit multiple parts of a fort at once, then you can just quickly release aim for a second and then hold it again to reset the trajectory width. I also didn't realize for a while that shooting barrels floating in the water with the swivel guns not only destroys them, but if they're close to an enemy ship, they'll actually deal way more damage than if you just let the ship run over them. For a powerful, simple opener, once you have the mortar and double shot unlocked, just sail up directly behind an enemy ship and place a mortar target in front of them so they sail into it, and then follow up with double shot from your front cannons. If that's not enough to take them out, you can also ram them right afterwards, either with just a regular ram or by using the more powerful ram dash once you get Padre on board as your master at arms. You need to progress the main story to unlock the hideout and then do his officer quest to get him. Speaking of the hideout, you definitely don't want to wait too long to do the facade upgrade on the manor. Doing that will unlock the collections box, which will passively generate money over time that you can just collect for free anytime you're back here. There is a max limit on how much it will hold though, so you do want to come back pretty frequently to collect it, but you can increase the max by doing the other manor upgrades. And you can increase the rate it brings money in by unlocking the treasure dealer and the fisherman's wharf. You're going to want to come back to the manor frequently anyway though, because another excellent way to make money is through fleet missions. As you win battles on the high seas, you'll get the option to take ships for your fleet, and then you can deploy those ships on various missions. Different types of missions require different types of ships, and the most important type are trade missions, because those are the ones that make you a bunch of money. Trade missions require some combination of rum, spice, sugar, tobacco, or wine. You'll get those from looting during normal gameplay, so definitely save those up for these missions because you'll get way more gold for them this way compared to selling them directly at a merchant. But you also need a specific type of ship for trade missions, schooners. So you're definitely going to want to prioritize getting schooners in your fleet over other types of ships. When you send a ship on a mission, it'll always take some amount of damage, and the possible range for that damage is shown on the mission card before you send it. So the strategy here is to check the maximum damage the mission could cause and compare that to the current health of the ship you want to send. If the max damage is less than the ship's health, then it's perfectly safe to send the ship, even if it ends up limping back with just 1 HP. Repairing ships always costs the same amount, and it always heals them to full. So you want to wait until you absolutely have to repair a ship before doing it. But as you unlock later regions for new missions, you're going to notice that the max damage dealt by the missions will start to exceed even the max health of your ship. That's when you need to start paying attention to your ship's star ranks. Each ship has a star ranking that indicates how strong it is, and your 1-star schooners can really only operate safely in the 2 northern regions. So you're going to need to capture some higher ranked schooners eventually. Before you start battling a ship, check it with your spyglass first to see its star rank. This will also tell you what type of ship it is to make sure it's a schooner so you're not destroying some poor innocent fisherman, and other information like the exact loot you'll get when you win the battle. Oh, and to unlock regions for new missions, you need to take forts in those regions, but the southeast region will get unlocked through a main quest, so don't beat your head against the wall like I did trying to unlock that one early. Missions take anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes, and you do need to actively collect the rewards. They won't just be automatically given to you. So you need to go back to the manor pretty often, and don't forget to check that collections box at the same time. Trade missions are also why you definitely want to get additional berths as soon as possible so you can have more ships in your fleet. You can purchase one additional berth for 5k and another for 10, but you'll get most of them from restoring the manor and upgrading other hideout buildings. The easiest one is restoring the campfire for 6k, which gives you 2 more berths. Back out at sea though, I didn't realize for a while that the Jackdaw will actually auto heal any of its large segments, not just the lowest one. So once you finish a battle, if the ship health bar has any of the major segments partially filled, not the smallest little chunks, but the bigger segments, then that whole segment will auto heal to full shortly after combat ends. That's important to know when you're deciding what to do after taking a ship. Knowing that you're going to get an auto heal might let you take a different option sometimes. I've also definitely gotten the habit of keeping at least one defeated ship close by when I'm in a big battle. Boarding a ship will always disengage you from combat with all the other ships, and the Jackdaw is safe throughout the entire boarding process. So you can board to duck out of combat, and then of course you can also choose to take the ship repair option to heal up the Jackdaw before you dive back into the fight. But there's also a way to take on huge enemy ships like Man-O-Wars way earlier than you're supposed to and get a ton of loot, including the captain's lockbox that gives extra loot. Basically, what you want to do is approach a ship, but don't fire on it or ram it. Instead, sail up in front of them and cut them off so they stop moving. Then just hop over or swing over using the line near the swivel guns and take out all the enemies solo. Once you clear them all out, check to see if you have an option to take the captain's lockbox and then head back over to your ship. After a few seconds, the enemy ship will explode and you'll get all the loot just like you would if you had beat it in ship-to-ship combat, but you never had to fire a single shot. There can be a lot of enemies on these ships though, so one of my go-to tactics when boarding has become simply baiting a bunch of enemies together and then popping smoke to assassinate them all. It's also good to know that the left and right side cannons on your ship are on different cooldowns, so if you're in a battle with enemies on either side, you can fire one side and immediately swing around to fire the other. If you've got a long sail ahead of you to your destination, you can put your ship on autopilot. First, place a map marker on your destination, and then back outside the map, hold up on D-pad to start the Pathfinder mode, and hold triangle to start auto-following the path. This way, your crew will take care of things for you so you can go take a snack break. In my last video, I showed you how to swing over to board enemy ships on the rigging lines by the swivel guns, but those lines are also useful for getting yourself a little closer to land when you have to anchor offshore without a dock. There are also rigging lines like this on the front of the Jackdaw. And anytime you do have to swim a long distance, dashing while submerged is faster than swimming on the surface. You can also fast travel directly to the Jackdaw from anywhere on the map. So a nice little trick is if you're fast traveling somewhere to get closer to your final destination, first fast travel to the location like you were going to, but then you can just immediately open up the map again and fast travel straight to the Jackdaw. That'll save you the run down to the docks if you don't spawn on the docks. Keep in mind you can also fast travel directly to a few special locations like the manor hideout. Once you have the treasure dealer unlocked at the hideout, he can stitch together map fragments you find in various locations, and some of those fragments will actually come from raiding warehouses. Warehouses are on a cooldown, so you can loot the same ones over and over again, which can be a nice way to get some quick money and resources. I've found the Cat Island warehouse and the one attached to Havana are very easy because the guys with the keys are pretty close to where you spawn in when fast traveling to them. In addition to the observe mechanic you have to locate loot by holding L2 on a controller or right click on PC, you do also have the classic eagle vision to clearly reveal enemies through walls and other obstacles, which you activate by holding down R3 on your right stick for a moment. On PC, you need to hold V. And if you want it to be instant, instead of needing to hold the stick down, then you can go into the control customization options and switch it from hold to press. That's going to conflict with target lock on the R3 stick though, so I recommend you switch target lock to your left stick instead. That'll conflict with sprint toggle, but that shouldn't actually give you any real issues. I also sometimes don't want all the UI elements cluttering up my view, especially when the game looks as good as it does and I just want to be more immersed. So there's a couple of things you can do about that. First, you can adjust the text size and icon size settings under the interface tab to make things a little smaller. I also like to turn my HUD opacity down to around 70%. There's also a HUD preset for minimal or disabled, and you can dive into the HUD/VFX customization submenu if you really want to customize things. But what I like to do is go over into the gameplay tab and turn on the HUD toggle setting. That'll make it so you can completely disable all the HUD elements by double clicking the right stick on controller or tapping the backtick key on PC, and then bring them back the same way. If you don't see a backtick key above your tab key, then you're probably on a smaller keyboard, so you usually need to hold function and tap the escape key. Toggling the HUD off will actually make the game a bit tougher too, because the HUD will just never display. So if you want to make the game more challenging, you can keep the HUD toggled off in addition to maxing out the difficulty settings. The game will teach you that you can put Edward's hood up and down by hitting left on the D-pad or T on PC. But what it won't tell you is holding that same button is how you can sheath and unsheath your swords anytime you want. You can also hold right on D-pad or X on PC to fast forward time either to night or morning depending on the current time. But you have to be on solid ground for this to work. You can't be on your ship, a dock, or even things like boulders. Basically, you need to be on sand or dirt, and sometimes it can be a bit finicky, so move around a little bit and try again if it doesn't work. Another setting I definitely like having on is area loot, so that nearby bodies will all get looted at the same time. You'll find that here under the gameplay tab. You can combo that with the Lodestone trinket, which you can buy at any merchant for highly efficient looting. But I actually like a couple other trinkets like the Lock of Hair better, and we covered those in my last video right here. If you've already seen it, then I'll put my next Black Flag video on the other side of the screen as soon as it's ready. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you over there in just a second.